For many Brazilians living in the big cities, the shopping mall is a refuge from their daily doses of chaos, traffic, and fear of crime. But now it's the countryside that's behind the continued growth of these commercial centers. In the South American country, Paulo Cabral has the story.
Brazilians just can't get enough of them. Despite the general economic slowdown in the country, investment in shopping malls keeps rising. According to research firm Ibope Inteligência, Brazil currently has 423 malls, and another 64 are set to open by the end of the year.
It's non-stop work, both on the expansion of existing shopping malls and on the construction of new ones. Growing numbers of people all over this country are being seduced by the safe, controlled environment of these commercial centers. And shops, of course, will go wherever consumers are.
For an investor, choosing a mall is a safer bet because if it's a good location, it's guaranteed to have a good flow of consumers.
Malls are still appearing in big cities, but developers are now heading to the countryside, where most of the new projects are being built. In this traditional São Paulo mall, the superintendent says a whole new consumer market was created in these new frontiers with last decade's economic growth.
It's because we have many small and medium cities in Brazil that don't have shopping centers. It's because of the new consumer market of lower middle class that is coming to these malls.
There has been growth in employment and wages in many Brazilian small and medium-sized cities in the countryside, so people can make money and spend it in their own town. It's very different from what it was 10 years ago.
Investment in shopping malls is certainly a welcome sign of vitality in a slowing economy. But economists say activity needs to pick up if all these new commercial centers are to be filled with consumers in the long run. Paulo Cabral, CCTV, São Paulo.
Well, Brazilians love looking good, spending an average of $260 a year on beauty products, matching the consumption of more mature markets such as the US. And they also enjoy the finer things in life. The country's luxury market is estimated at over $12 billion. Joining me now is David Sadigh, CEO of Digital Luxury Group, which compiles the World Luxury Index, an international ranking and analysis of the most sought-after luxury brands. David, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, David, Brazil has a booming middle class. Why are they splurging on luxury goods?
Booming middle class, that's the right word. I mean, they are all called emerging markets, but the reality is that they are not so emerging anymore. So Brazil economy is strong, globally speaking, and this growing middle class...
Even though it has suffered some weakness
lately. Of course, but I mean, if you look at it on the long run, there is like a strong outlook within the Brazilian economy, with, as you mentioned, this middle class making more and more money and being able to afford new products and services, including a lot of luxury.
So what are some of the biggest trends you're seeing in the Brazilian luxury market?
So, first of all, the Brazilian market is totally different from other markets. So if you look at China, for example, or India, those are markets very status-driven, where in Brazil, people are more what we call casual chic. They enjoy more accessible brands and so on. So that's why brands such as, for example, Lacoste or Calvin Klein are enjoying top position within the Brazilian market because of their more accessible kind of clothing and apparel lines.
Now, with regards to the car market, you said that that's seen a 24% increase. Which brands are Brazilians going for?
At the moment, the most sought-after luxury car brand for Brazilian is Audi. And Audi and the model, the Audi A3, which is the small model of Audi, is the most sought-after car brand in Brazil.
Not the higher-end ones, like the Bentleys, for example? They want, you say this ties into that casual chic thing that they're going for?
Exactly.
And how does this translate to beauty? Because we know Brazilians spend a ton of money on beauty, as we said, right up there with the US. Which beauty brands are doing the best in the country?
You know, it's interesting you mentioned beauty, because beauty in Brazil is something like kind of a fascination. There is a real love story between Brazilian women and beauty products. And the reality is that right now, you have several brands that are taking advantage of this very strong growth, and especially on the makeup side. So this generates like a very interesting opportunity for brands such as MAC Cosmetics, taking the first spot in Brazil, MAC Cosmetics, and Chanel. coming number 2 with very strong beauty products and so on that Brazilian women love. That's why actually we decided to call the Brazilian women beauty junkies. Because as you said before, they are beauty junkies, because the reality is that while the revenue per person is much lower than in the US, they are spending as much money as American women for beauty products.
And what about fragrances?
Fragrance is important as well, and it's an interesting market, but right now the makeup part is more important than the fragrance segment.
Now, a lot of Brazilians actually do their shopping overseas, even though, as we've seen, shopping malls are popping up all over the country. What are the top shopping travel destinations for Brazilians?
You know, when it comes to like Brazilian traveling around the world, this is also something very important to better like define who are the Brazilian luxury customers. There are very international people visiting a lot of different cities and so on. So of course, cities such as Miami, such as New York and so on, are like very interesting destination for Brazilian customer. And you might have heard also that the US have decided to facilitate the obtention of visa. So it do not take any week or months. It's just a question probably of 1 or 2 weeks to get a visa from Brazil to visit the US, which will also have a very positive impact, we believe, at Digital Luxury Group on the American luxury market.
And they're buying beauty products when they're traveling.
Beauty products, but you know, sometimes even strollers. We noticed that a lot of women were coming during their pregnancy to buy like a lot of products for their baby, clothing, and so on. So we think that it's a good news, not only for the luxury market, but for the global, I would say, consumer goods market as well.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you so much, David Sadigh,
Thank you.
CEO of Digital Luxury Group.